Hi everyone, welcome back to Music to Your Ears. I'm your host, Ale Arroyo. Today we're talking about reinvention, not just as an artistic concept, but as a way of living. Because in a world that's obsessed with labels, reinvention is rebellion. It's what separates artists who fade out from the ones who define generations. When we talk about reinvention, it's easy to think of it as starting over, wiping the slate clean. But true reinvention isn't about becoming someone new, it's about uncovering the parts of yourself that have always been there and letting them evolve. The best artists know this. They don't chase trends, they outgrow their own shadows. They take who they were, remix it, and turn it into something surprising, honest, and completely new. Let's start with the man who practically invented the art of reinvention. You know him, you love him, we have heard about him before, David Bowie. He never stays still. When we were talking about him last time, I told you about his persona, Ziggy Stardust. He also changed to the Thin White Duke. In the Berlin years, the electronic experiments, he changed his sound, his image, his story constantly, but there was always one thread that connected it all, which was authenticity through transformation. Bowie once said, "I'm not a rock star, I'm a collection of people who are all trying to be something more." And that's exactly what made him timeless. He treated his identity as an instrument. He didn't fear change, he turned it into a performance art. Now, fast forward to today, there are so many artists that, like Bowie, are extravagant. But let's look at someone like Beyonce. Her reinvention isn't about costumes or personas in the same theatrical way Bowie did it. For her, it's about control, ownership, and evolution. She started in Destiny's Child, early 2000s pop perfection, but she didn't stay there. She grew into an artist who defined power on her own terms. Albums like Lemonade and Renaissance weren't just music. They were statements, like what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago with hip-hop. She used visual storytelling, culture, and vulnerability to redefine what pop could be. Every new era of Beyoncé feels like a mirror reflecting where she is as a woman, a mother, and an artist. It's not just about changing sound, it's about claiming identity. Speaking of eras reminds me, and probably a few more listeners, of Taylor Swift, who has gone through many of them throughout her career, 11 to be exact. Every album is another stage of her life. It's always her, just a different version every era. From country to rock, Miss Americana has changed her style of music depending on where her creative mind has taken her to, instead of just sticking to one. Here's the thing about reinvention. It's not just exclusively for artists. We all go through it. Maybe it's a career change, or letting go of who you used to be, or rediscovering yourself after a heartbreak. Can you think of a moment where you reinvented yourself? What was it like? And if you haven't, that's totally okay. Transformations come to us when we need it most. Reinvention is what happens when life forces us to grow, and we say yes because we don't really have a choice. Think about it. Bowie didn't reinvent because it was trendy. It was definitely not trendy in the 80s. Beyoncé doesn't evolve for headlines. They both reinvent to survive creatively, to keep their art honest and alive and true to who they are. And maybe that's something we can take from them. That change isn't a loss of identity, it's proof that we are alive. One of the hardest parts of reinvention is letting go of who you used to be. But every artist who lasts learns that you can't grow if you're busy protecting what's already been done. When Bowie let go of Ziggy Stardust, fans were devastated for sure, but he knew staying would trap him. When Beyoncé broke away from pop formulas and embraced deeper, riskier work, not everyone got it right away, but she evolved anyway. Reinvention requires courage. It means walking away from comfort and trusting that who you're becoming is worth the leap. I think it's also important to mention that the word reinvention has the RE at the beginning for a reason. You're not inventing somebody new. You are digging deeper into who you can be and who you can become. Yet that part that you were is still going to be within you and within your story. You're just trying to discover what else can you do. Reinvention isn't just about art. It's about being human. We're meant to change, to outgrow, to begin again. And the artists who embody that, like Bowie and Beyonce and Taylor Swift and everybody, remind us that evolution is not a weakness, it's a strength. So if you are in a season of change, take a page from their book. Take notes from them. Let yourself experiment, fail, shift, just surprise yourself. Because maybe the art of reinvention isn't about finding who you are. It's about giving yourself permission to keep becoming. I know that a few weeks ago we talked about David Bowie, so I'm not going to recommend you to listen to him again if you don't want to. But I think the recommendation for this week is to listen to your favorite artist's first album and last album. Well, maybe if you don't want to listen to the whole album, maybe you can listen to a few songs or maybe just one song. But notice how they reinvented their art, because we all do. And we all adapt to what's new and who we are. I'm Ale Arroyo, and this was The Art of Reinvention in Music to Your Ears. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.